Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
Oh, we're talking Rudolph. Oh, we're talking reindeer.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose, and if you ever saw it, you would even say it glows
like a light bulb.
All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names.
Like Pinocchio.
They never let poor Rudolph join in any reindeer game.
Like Monopoly.
Welcome, Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Welcome to Heart of Hope's podcast. And today we're going to talk about the challenges of Christmas. So, this is my co-host, my reindeer Rudolph, who's joining us today in place of Hannah. Hannah was so sad she couldn't join us, but she sent Rudolph
I
instead.
feel like I should do a reindeer noise, like. Oh.
I don't even know what reindeer noise sounds like, to be honest.
Like.
Just to clarify, reindeers aren't angry animals. I mean, that was quite angry, but they're not. They really aren't. They're cheerful and they love Christmas, like we love Christmas. So yeah, we have our Christmassy hot chocolates in. Oh no! Oh,
I'm having a bit of an issue.
I'm just going to pass it to my fellow co-host reindeer. There you go.
We did have cream on them, if you can see, but
yeah, the cream's melted a little bit now. So.
Oh, it's good.
Oh yeah, can't beat a good hot chocolate at Christmas. So, to kick us off, let's talk about my present that's next to me for me to unwrap. So, kids that love Christmas, it's great. They love, what do they love? They love the tree, they love the lights, they love the tinsel, they love hot chocolate, love the sweets,
yes.
Lots of sweets and chocolate
sugar.
And the sugar.
Oh.
And a lot of them like wrapping paper and the presents. But there's some kids where they're like, this is too much.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Sensory overload.
Because you've got the bright, shiny Christmas paper. You've got Christmas music blaring out of all the shops. You have got people dressed up in costume.
Yeah.
You have the real Santa visiting lots of different shopping places. And sometimes it's just too much for our children that have additional needs. So we're going to, I think, let our reindeer escape now.
I'll be unwrapped now.
The wrapping. You can be unwrapped now. Let's unwrap you. Merry Christmas!
Merry! What's that song? And he goes, Merry Christmas! At the end. What's that song?
So here it is, Merry Christmas. Everybody's having fun. Look to the future now. It's only just begun. Yeah, that one.
That was so sporadic? No. Spontaneous.
Spontaneous, yes.
Sporadic. Anyway.
Okay.
It's nice to be together again.
I know, it always feels like forever, doesn't it?
I know. Together.
I mean, obviously we join virtually, but it's just not the same, is it?
It's not the same. It's nice when we are together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I like to behave this time.
I know. Well, when you're virtual, you're like, are you still talking? Are you not talking?
I know. It's like, it glitches a little bit.
It does glitch sometimes. So it's nice to just know that we can be in sync and just talk. And yeah. So Christmas is coming. And it is an important topic to talk about because for children on the spectrum, especially if you have more than one child, it can be a bit difficult.
Yeah.
My eldest, she loves Christmas. Christmas is magical time, and she loves Santa. And I'll never forget when she was really little. After Christmas Day, she would knock on the door every morning, and she'd run in and go, "It's Santa! He's come to see me!" She used to be so excited. I'm like, "No, he's on holidays in Hawaii. He's worked hard. He's given all these presents. He's tired. He is sunbathing with a nice cold drink in the sun, chilling out. Do you know what I mean? Because he deserves a break." So,
indeed,
as much as it would be nice to have Santa visit every single day after Christmas, he needs time for himself, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
We all do. So, going to see the lights is a tradition of ours. We go in the evening. And thankfully, our little boy loves sensory lights, so that works quite well.
That's good.
But Christmas morning is a very, very different story in our house. So for years, we would like obviously have Elena come down to see who would come, and we'd find all these presents wrapped up, and there was excitement and glee and Christmas music playing, and we would all take turns opening some of the presents. But then, as Lucas, our little one, has gotten older and older, he just cannot cope with it. So you'd bring him into the room, and straight away he'd start moaning, getting upset.
Oh.
And birthdays, Christmas, no matter what it is, if he's got presents wrapped up, he refuses to open them.
Yeah.
So you keep pushing the present towards him, go, "Fine, go open." No, he won't open it. So we've had to really think hard about how to approach Christmas.
It's a difficult time, isn't it? Because it's like kids love it, parents are like, it's the time of chaos.
It is, yes.
You know, and it is difficult because how do you blend in that kind of not only like, you know, the sensory, but the routine as well. Like,
Yes,
because
change
it
the
all
routine.
goes out of the window, doesn't it? I know for my kids, it's like, and so it begins. You know, like it's hard work to like. I really have to think about it. So
Yeah.
it's a chaotic time, isn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose it's that, you know, that expectation and all eyes on you as you're opening gifts. And just knowing how to react to gifts as well. I know
Yeah.
that some kids on the spectrum, you know, they are very much, they say it as it is. So you can imagine them opening a present which is an ugly Christmas jumper, and they'll have no qualms at all of telling you, well, this is ugly. Which is what we love about our children on the spectrum.
Yes.
And then you've got others who would probably get a lot of anxiety, worrying about, well, what if I don't like it? What do I say? What face do I pull? Because they know that social interaction is difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's being mindful, isn't it? So for me, I've had to really think about how do I do Christmas from now on? And I think the only thing we could think of was to have 2 Christmases.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is, you know, we'll have everything set up, ready and kind of festive, and, you know, make sure that we tell Santa that, you know, our eldest daughter does want her presents wrapped. You know, she does want all that rigmarole. And we let Lucas sleep in. We get Lena up a little bit earlier. She comes down, she has the full experience. But then when it's time to get him up, we make sure that his presents, you know, are maybe not all in one place. So maybe he has 1 or 2 that are there that he can just casually play with, and we can add gradually. Because I think it's not just them wrapped up, it's just the number as well.
Yeah,
Having so much different things in front of you, and it's like, hang on, all this wasn't here yesterday. So it's remembering that it's a huge change.
Yes,
it's an overnight
it is,
change, actually.
Literally.
It's literally overnight. All of a sudden, there's a load of wrapped up, bright, shiny presents, and you think, excuse me, what's this doing here?
Yeah. So how do you like, obviously Christmas Eve is a massive thing. Like when we were kids, it's like, I don't want to go to bed. How do you manage that with a child that's not, do you know what I mean, who likes routine and whatever? Do you stick to that routine? Do you let them stay later? Do you do, like, how does that work?
I think it depends on the child that has additional needs, that has autism, because for the children who are higher functioning and it's a exciting time and they look forward to the next day, I think it's being clear that, you know, you better watch out, you better not cry. Santa Claus is coming to town.
I couldn't remember the words on
He's keeping an eye. So if you're being told to go to bed,
You need to go to
he
bed.
will know if you're not going to bed.
Yes.
He will know.
Indeed.
We have his number. We are celebs. Yeah. We keep tabs on him. He keeps tabs on us. No, but genuinely, it's communicating to the children that, you know, staying up till all hours is not acceptable.
No.
But I think still making sure you have special routines every Christmas that they enjoy, like leaving out the special dust for the reindeer. And
Oh, we love a bit of reindeer dust.
you know, we always make sure we have cookies or mince pies and milk for Santa, and a carrot for Rudolph. You know, we keep to that routine every year.
Yeah.
And the elves always bring a magic Christmas Eve box for them as well. But Lucas is not bothered by any of this. It's so funny.
That must be really difficult, isn't it? Because as a parent, you want to make it as special as possible, isn't it?
Yes.
So when they're not like responding and reacting in the way that you would kind of want, that must be really difficult. You think
He just walks off, unless it's chocolate, of course, or sweets.
all the
Do you
kids
mean?
love chocolate.
But you know, you'll just like say you've got the Christmas Eve box that the elves are delivered, and it's open up, and you'll see like a pack of sweets, and you'll just snatch, grab it, walk
Right,
off.
okay.
You know, he won't bother looking and seeing what else is in there. He's just like, yeah, I know what I want. I'm going.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
So yeah, I think it is being mindful, and I think shopping can be really challenging for parents as well. So I tend to rely on certain online shops, which will not be named.
Many are available.
Purely because it just means that it's less stress.
Yeah.
And for Lucas in particular, he hates shopping, especially if you're there too long. He has gotten used to certain food shops, but he soon starts to kick off if you're in there too long. He doesn't
I'm with
like
you.
it.
I'm a bit of a, like, how can I put it? Like, I'm a bit of a pushy character. So, like, when we went to Cardiff Christmas shopping, right?
I'm a pushy character.
I am. I'm a bit, you know, like, you know, I'm doing my shopping, right? So we went to Cardiff Christmas shopping once, and Destiny was a baby, so she was in the pram, and it was so fun. Like, I am just like, out of my way, like, you know. So pushing Destiny in the pram, like, all these people just standing in the way, and I was like, excuse you, like, pushing my way through. And their dad was like, couldn't cope with it, and he was like, we'd been in Cardiff for like an hour, and he could not cope with it, and he was like, I need to go home. And I was like, what? We've been here an hour. So I can cope with it, but imagine like a child.
It's a lot.
Do you know what I mean? Their dad couldn't cope with it. Like, imagine a child with such sensory needs, and in Cardiff they got the lights, they got Mariah Carey playing, like, which is annoying. Like,
I think you don't want, and this is a big challenge as well. If you consider, say you've got some neurotypical children and an autistic child in your family, you don't want the other children to miss out.
Exactly.
You want them to get the full experience. So it makes me question whether could it be managed, like, you know, when you go in shops and you have people who are very much not in your face, but they're dressed up and they're like, oh, you know, going around to all the kids. Would it help to have a lanyard that says, you know, I have autism, I don't like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because I think, would that make them think twice and go, actually, I'm not going to approach that family? Because... So I think there are things that can be done.
I think so, definitely.
But I know different people feel different ways about autism as a label. But then if it's a tool that could be used to save you having to deal with a meltdown.
Absolutely. Like, funny enough, I was starting a new job and I did training, and funny enough, we did autism training. And it showed a video about this little boy and his mum going to a shopping centre, very much like Cardiff, St David's in Cardiff, if you've ever been. Very much like that. And it showed this little boy and him going through down, he starts having a meltdown, but like very behavioural and like throwing himself to the floor and all this kind of stuff, right? But it showed it from his perspective and all the sensory.
I think I've seen
and like, have you seen it?
Yeah.
And like all the noises, and he can't cope with the noise and the tall people that are coming through the door and all that. And it was quite eye opening. And you just think, so and that was just like, that wasn't Christmas time.
Yeah.
That was like a normal day.
Just an everyday.
Yeah. And so when you consider like Christmas time now, everybody's like going shopping, they're trying to do this, and everybody's stressing, you know, oh, what am I going to get so and so? Like, it must be really hard. Like, and like, I always take my girls to like Winter Wonderland in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm quite a pushy character, so it doesn't bother me. But again, obviously, they like our experience, they let you do that. But for others, like you said, you've got one sibling who loves all that, but another who doesn't. How do you manage that?
It is really difficult, and I think that's the only thing. Like, me and my husband have discussed it, because the last few years we just had to kind of comfort him, essentially. Like, he just didn't want to sit with his presents. He didn't want to open his presents. He just wanted a cutch because it was too much. So now we've had to think, well, it's not fair on him to have him go through this every year, and he can't cope with it. So the only solution we could think of was to have our daughter get up earlier, have her magical experience, then we reduce it all down so that when he comes down the stairs, it's not as intense.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we could think to do. And I think we're going to have to apply the same to birthdays as well, is not having presents wrapped up, because he just doesn't like it.
Yeah, it's so difficult, isn't it? What would you say to parents who, obviously, Christmas is as well is a financial struggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you say is the best advice to parents who think, like, this is an expensive time of year, like, obviously I've got to meet all their needs as well, like, how can I manage this?
That is a tough question, actually, because, you know, there are some autism specialist events. You know, you can have You visit, I think I want to say, like, they do like something called the Chester Lights or something like that,
Okay.
with lanterns, and they do an autism version where it's all a bit less intense.
That's good.
So I know that there are activities and events where they do consider that, and they offer an alternative for families to have children with a neurodivergence. But of course, when you put anything like special needs or autism in front of something, it's going to cost more. So that is something that needs to be considered. There are tools out there that you can use. I think if you want to be meeting sensory needs around Christmas, so instead of having a big tree and having all the tinsel and the lights and all these extra bits, even if you just got like a bubble tube, and some like of those string, like the long, I don't know,
The garlands.
No, not the garlands. They're like these sensory lights, but they're like loads of string lights that come off that you can just sit and touch and play with.
Oh, that's cool.
So that you're still getting that Christmassy vibe from the lights, but it's not Christmas lights.
Yeah,
But still, you're getting some of that magic in there. There is such thing. Well, I know it's not available to everybody, but in North Wales we have a group called Stand, and they have a sensory lending library.
Amazing.
So you can pay, obviously you register with them, and I think you pay £10 for the year, and you can lend one sensory item a month.
That's good.
If you have more than one child, you can lend more than one item a month. So Christmas time, if you have two children on the spectrum, you could lend some Christmassy lights that aren't intense, and then something else, that brings comfort. But you're still providing something that is pleasing for the children and means they don't miss out, really. Obviously, being cost effective is important, isn't it, for all of us?
Absolutely, yeah.
So maybe activities like like when we talk about making cookies at Christmas and things like that. I would say that's quite a cost-effective activity. And even if you just got them to decorate the cookie at the end, if they don't like all of the process, just at the end put in like the little faces on the cookies. Or I like to do these gingerbread cookies that you turn upside down, and then you turn them into reindeer, so they're like Rudolph cookies.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they're really great.
I tell you what I do, like budget-wise, is I've bought the girls sacks for Christmas. Last year they had huge ones, and Carrie could like fall inside it. Right, it was like huge.
Yeah.
And this year I decided, actually, no, we're going to get smaller ones. And what I kind of do is like prioritize. Okay, what do the girls need? What do they want? Okay, we say, okay, Santa's going to get this year.
Yeah.
And then, but what we do, so Santa provides whatever he provides, and then we kind of like fill up the sack. And once it's full, it's full.
Yeah.
Now, last year they had huge sacks, and it didn't really benefit me that much because it was like I spent. But then this year now, because the sacks are smaller, I'm spending less.
Yeah, and I think it's setting the expectation, isn't it? And I think the difficulty some families have is when their children go to school and their friends are going, oh, I'm going to get this, this, and this, or, I've asked Santa for like an Xbox or something like that, and that can be really challenging for parents. And I think when they see that their friends are getting something that they're not getting, they're like, well, why can't I have that? So I think it's just to be mindful, to speak to each other as parents, and to be very clear about, black and white thinking for children on the spectrum, that they will expect to get certain things because you have it, or, that kind of thing.
Yeah, when we discussed with our girls, me and their dad sit down with them and we're like, okay, so what do you want from Santa this year? What are you going to write on your letter? And we kind of like nudge them in the direction of things that are kind of like cost effective.
Yeah.
Essentially. Because, Santa's not made of money.
No, it's not.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know he's making all these toys, right? But it still costs him money to make them.
Of course, yeah, for all the
Do you know
parts.
what I mean? Like,
all the bells and whistles.
So we're always kind of like, well, let's think of something that's a little bit, more cost effective and do it that way, because kids do compare. Oh, Santa got so much of that now. And then the more expensive items then my dad normally fund. But that's the way I do it. I kind of, and especially when you've got kids on the spectrum, it's having those. For me, I think I'd be thinking, okay, what things do they need that are going to benefit them sensory wise? Or for me, that's kind of how I would do it, I suppose. But yeah, what would you say are the best presents for kids?
Oh, there's a lot of options out there. I mean, if you're talking about meeting sensory needs specifically, you can get these like swivel chairs. There's a lot of them available on TikTok Shop, and TikTok, I would say, is pretty good. Just be very careful when you do buy from TikTok, you know, because scammers, they try everywhere.
Yeah, I've used a lot of this.
But TikTok, you know, if you're careful and you read all the information and you verify things, you can get some really, really good stuff. I got a bubble tube off of TikTok, which changes colour. It has lots of different fish that go up and down with the distilled water you put in. And you've got different settings for like how fast it goes up and down and all this stuff. And it was like £16.
That's good.
And usually you pay way over that for a bubble tube. It's not massive, but it's big enough for the kids, and they love it. But yeah, a swivel chair is always good. They have so it's like a little like a circular kind of chair that swivels round.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's not like an office chair. It's like a little. It's like those ones you see in the park,
like a mushroom seat,
like a mushroom kind of seat.
With you.
It's got like a proper stand, so you stay safe on it. You hold it either side and you swivel on it. The kids love that. So I've seen some good reviews about that one. There's also this new cube that's come out, and it's not like a fidget cube. It's like a soft gel type cube.
Desi's got one.
There we go.
I don't know where it is, though. Sorry.
That's okay. But you can mold it, and it's yeah. So those are quite popular and not expensive. So I think it's about getting creative and really thinking about what sensory needs your kid has and how to meet them. But yeah, I think different things work for different kids. Because autism, like we say, it's not one size fits all.
No.
So some kids like it when you prepare and talk to them about what's going to happen next or what to expect. So that's the type of approach I've used for Elena quite a lot.
Yeah.
Lucas, that doesn't really work because he can't really share whether that actually helps him. So I just think it's, if you're going to make any changes for a child who has more difficulties with sensory needs, make very slight changes and gradually over time, not all at once, because we've seen that does not work and it's not good.
Yeah. How about? Sorry, I feel like I'm asking loads of questions.
No, it's okay.
How about Christmas dinner? We love Christmas, right? No, some children with autism and all that, they are really fussy, aren't they?
Oh.
And they're like, no, I'm not gonna eat that. Like, how do you manage that? And usually kids only want the sweet stuff, don't they?
Yeah, so Christmas dinner has been a challenge for years, actually, because my daughter in particular, she likes chicken and turkey. Excellent, big thumbs up.
Amazing.
She won't eat cooked carrots, broccoli, sprouts, roast potatoes, no chance. Mashed potatoes, no chance. Gravy, no.
Oh no.
Yorkshire pudding, yes, but not really. She's not like a big fan, but she'll have a little Yorkshire.
Little go.
So the only way I can do Christmas dinner usually is turkey, raw carrots, peppers, because she likes red pepper, and if I'm lucky, a Yorkshire. She doesn't like pigs and blankets. No potatoes. So it's a very basic dinner.
It's very plain.
And then the rest of the family are having like the turkey, the gravy, the pigs and blankets, the Yorkshires. And we try to encourage and say, look, try some off our plate. Like, we want you to give it a try. No.
Yeah, it's so difficult, that is, isn't it? Because, Christmas dinner for us is like, brings everybody together. Like, I love cooking Christmas dinner. I absolutely love it. But I suppose the best bit of advice is like, just be kind, isn't it? To yourself, to your kids. At the end
Just
of the
do
day.
what you can and try to support as best you can.
Yeah.
But always offer choice, because, don't just go, well, that's it, they'll never try it. Just gradually, just say, just try one potato or half a potato. Like, you don't have to finish it, but try it. You'll be surprised. You might really like it. And it's encouraging them to learn that actually it's okay to try new foods. And that's taken a long, long time to work on that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the food can be a challenge. I think the whole day itself, because it's not just the whole day, it's Christmas Eve as well, but the whole day itself can be quite intense.
Yeah, because like, I'm a bit of a stickler for routines. So, like, my kid, like Carrie's in bed by 6:30. Dexter usually goes to bed about 8:30. Obviously, like Christmas holidays, like we talked about in the summer, didn't we? About like the routine and stuff. the Christmas holidays, that's even like...
And when you think about family gatherings,
Yeah.
that can have a huge impact. So I say years ago because he was a lot younger then. My nephew, William, he hated family gatherings. Do you remember? We would have like birthday parties, or we would have a Christmas gathering, and he'd go, "Oh, my tummy, I don't feel well," and he'd go off, or he would separate himself from the family because it was just too much.
Yeah, and we are very loud.
And we are,
Obviously.
like you know us by now. Yes, we are. So I just think it's being mindful that actually, if there's too much going on, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe just have like select people or small family. Definitely don't introduce brand new people on Christmas.
No.
Like you're talking a whole change of routine.
Yeah.
Everything's different. You don't want to introduce a brand new person on that day.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
you were asking for a meltdown on that day.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like being kind and allowing them that time to be
Yeah.
like, do you know what? Do you need to go and have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Like Des, like Phoebe, she's got a phone. Like she's 11 now this year. Well, now, and she's 11, so she has got an iPhone and wherever other phones are available. But sometimes, like, she interacts really well with my partner and this little boy and my little girl, and we do spend like loads of time together, and we're like really active.
Yeah.
But sometimes she's like, "Oh, I just need 5 minutes."
Yeah.
Like, because she's the older out of the three of them, she's like, I just need to have 5 minutes. So I'm like, I give her phone, and I'm like, "Do you want to go up and have 5?" And I think it's kind of like the same.
Yeah.
It's like allowing them that tablet time, or that's right. It's Christmas. They've just had new toys. They may want to just go and play with it.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's good to, like, even if you like allocate that time, look, you can have an hour to just do you have that time to just play your new tablet or whatever it is you've had, you know. And I think they need that, don't they?
Oh, definitely.
You know, because it can be it can be a lot for anyone, can't it? It's like a bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think just be mindful about hosting Christmas dinner, but also if somebody invites you to Christmas dinner, it might be worth asking some follow-up questions like, how many guests are you expecting? What kind of games are you going to be playing? What kind of food are you going to have available? And not to be difficult, but actually, if your child likes to be prepared beforehand, you can say, right, they're inviting 10 people all together. The dress is Christmas jumpers, so you can wear your favourite Christmas jumper. And if they ask, can I bring a sensory toy? Yeah, you can bring a sensory toy. We're going to be playing games like Monopoly, blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, but I don't like Monopoly. It's like, it's fine, you don't have to play that.
That's your chill out time.
That's your chill out time. So I think the more you can prepare your child for what to expect, the better. But definitely, I would personally, no matter where they are on the spectrum, ask, if you've been invited, what do I need? Like, these are the things I need to know so I can tell my child so that they are prepared. And if there's any last minute changes, please tell me beforehand.
And even with the food,
Yeah.
if they say, "All right, we're having turkey," if you know like for you know your kid's not going to eat that. Well, tell you what, I'll bring my own plate.
Yeah, you can bring your own Tupperware box of food for them. Yeah, absolutely.
Because then there's no anxiety for that child to be like, well, I don't know, what if I don't like it?
Yeah.
Well, actually, we've got your food here.
Yeah.
We know you like that. Like, do you know what I mean?
And it's all about making sure they feel included, and they are included, whether they want to play those games or not, or whether they want to eat the same dinner. They're still there. They're still part of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot that can be done really to make sure that Christmas isn't a challenge. But it is a challenge in a way because it's extra. You've got to think a lot more about it. You've got to think, be more in depth about how you go about Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, thinking about how everyday life affects your child, and then think, right, like it's like turned on max volume.
Yeah.
Imagine it's already quite high, and then you have Christmas, and it's turned right to the max, and you can't really turn it down very much.
Yeah, sorry, and just thinking about like Christmas parties and stuff like that. Like, I think the other thing to be mindful of, especially if you're going to somebody's house, like there's a lot of booze in there, a lot of drink, and people get like,
yeah, they get more animated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that can be a lot for children. Like, I'm not a massive drinker. Like, so for me, like, I would know, like, oh, yeah, like, if you guys came over to me for Christmas, we know we'd kind of be okay because we don't really drink that much. But if you were going somewhere that's unfamiliar to your kids and there's drink around, people like,
that could really have a
that could
negative impact.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that's maybe something to be mindful of. Like, you know, Yeah, and just looking at that, okay, what time do we, once people start getting a little bit, okay, do we need to look at leaving?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks very much, we've had a lovely time, but we're gonna, you know, it's like almost thinking about those things, even like bedtime, okay, you know.
So essentially, it's like being an autism parent, but turned up to max volume, because you can't just think about the standard everyday stuff that could come up. You've got to think even more than you've ever thought,
Yeah.
really. So yeah, and it's just catering it to your child. I think when I think about Lucas and how different he is, sometimes it is hard when you take a child like that out and about, and they're like, you know, making a lot of noise and, you know, stimming and things. You know that people can be quite judgmental, and that can be tough in itself.
Yeah.
But for him, I would have to have my eyes on him the whole time. So if I went to a Christmas get together and I was invited, I would be very nervous about bringing him, because you take your eyes away from 1 second and he could be throwing food on the floor, or he could be grabbing food out of the dog's food bowl, or I kid you not, he could be turning the taps on, he could be trying to pull the tree down, ripping. It sounds a bit like I'm talking about a dog. Do
you know what? I literally was just gonna say that.
Obviously, I don't see my son like that,
No.
but that's
He's
how intense he is. It's like, it's not just sit down. He can't just sit. You know, he's either going to be climbing or jumping or bouncing or ripping paper. He loves ripping paper.
Yeah.
So there could be Christmas presents under the tree ready for Christmas, and you're at a friend's get together, and he could go over there and start ripping the paper because he just likes ripping. Not because he wants to open the presents, but just because he likes ripping. Or ripping Christmas cards or whatever. Like, we've tried giving him books and he just rips them apart. It doesn't matter if they're like those thick cardboard.
Yeah.
He completely destroys them. So
He
yeah,
does sound like a dog. But he's not.
he's not.
He's amazing.
Oh no, he's so clever, and he's you know, he's very intense, but we love him. But it is something you do need to be mindful of, unfortunately, when you go to other people's houses, is how do I manage his behaviour in a way so that we don't offend our guests. So
And maybe the option is, actually, I'm going to host, because you can set a routine in place. Sorry, guys, you need to leave by 8 o'clock because we need to tone down and set the kids ready for bed.
Yeah.
They've had a long day, da, 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 and like you can almost put your own boundaries in.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he is 5 and we still have a playpen, right? We've got quite a high one, only because he is constantly at stuff. So if somebody is cooking in the kitchen, say I'm on my own in the house with the kids and I'm cooking in the kitchen, he has no sense of danger, so he would just run into the kitchen and start grabbing things or try to touch the hob. So for me, putting him in the playpen means I know I can cook safely and then take him out when I'm ready. But yeah, he'll grab hot cups of tea and whatever, you know. So yeah, everyone has their routine and their strategies, but developing new strategies is difficult. So yes, I would say definitely have a good think and ask for advice. Like, there's nothing wrong with asking other parents that have children on the spectrum for advice, because we can all learn something from each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think so. And maybe plan early. I mean, we're in December now, so like this is probably a little bit late. But like, I'm very organised for Christmas. I like start wrapping in September. Like, I'm normally pretty good. This year, not so organised, but maybe like September comes around, kids go back to school, everybody starts thinking about Christmas around September, don't they?
Yeah.
So maybe it's then you start thinking, okay, how is Christmas going to look
Like,
this
what are
year?
my commitments? Like, how many commitments am I going to make? Like, you know, you get your staff Christmas parties, going out for lunch. So it's like thinking about, right, how many will I say yes to? How many will I say no to? You know, if you're really popular, because as celebs, we're very popular. We get invited all the time.
Just darling.
You know, no, we're not celebs. We don't get invited anywhere because we're troublemakers.
Troublemaker, yeah, that's your middle name. Oh, Molly Moores.
Is it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh.
I didn't know that one, sorry.
Normally, you're pretty good at this.
I know, it's the first time she's caught me out, people. She's caught me out with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I was
What were you saying?
I can't remember that.
Yeah.
Because we're the troublemakers.
We are the troublemakers.
Or the troublemakers. Get that? Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
You haven't seen Pitch Perfect?
She just shouted about you and I just...
Yeah, it's not an actual defender.
That's a shame. That is a shame. Yes. So, yeah, think about those kind of things like commitments and parties and things. And yeah, just think about like whether you need Christmas music in the background or whether you can turn it down, like tone it down a little bit. But yeah, it's just testing it out for, your child, because again, it's not everything is going to suit.
No.
So like for my eldest daughter, she loves Christmas, anything Christmas. She's like, can we make cookies? Can we make Christmas brownies? Can we decorate the living room? Can we decorate my bedroom? Can we, she's all for it. And whereas my little boy, he doesn't really tell me what he likes or doesn't like, but he comes into the living room Christmas morning and he is not happy.
He's like, no,
thank you.
Yeah.
No. He's just cutchy, doesn't want to sit down in his playpen with his presents, runs out of the room constantly crying. It's like, yeah, you don't like this.
This is too much.
We know our plan. So if you have any questions or you'd like more ideas, you can always get in touch with us, because we don't mind. But also, I think it's maybe communicating to family and friends as well, especially if you've had a diagnosis recently, and they don't know much about autism. Obviously, learn as much as you can, but make sure they are prepared.
Yeah.
Because I think you go on automatic pilot. Like when my in-laws, the family out there, were meeting Lucas for the first time, they were going straight up to him and going, "Oh, hi, Lucas, how are you?" And he was just walking off, like not looking at them, not bothered. I was like, he won't really reply. Like, I'm not being difficult. I'm just saying, just to let you know, he won't.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh no, that's okay," But as a parent, you feel like you have to explain.
Yeah, yeah.
And he won't look at you, but that's just who he is.
Yeah.
And I just think, when you're having family gatherings at Christmas and everyone's like, "Oh, go on, give Auntie a hug and a kiss,"
No.
and especially if you've got somebody who has sensory sensitivities and they don't like touching, in general, and you're saying go off and give so-and-so a kiss and a hug, that's going to cause high anxiety. So,
because if you think Lucas just will not engage with me at all, really, will he?
Yeah,
we can admit it. It's okay.
Well, I mean, if you've got food, then he will be your friend.
He's my friend.
He will be your friend.
Yeah.
If you've got a nice slice of cake there, and it's chocolate cake, and he sees you eating it, he gives you the little smirk, and he walks on over and he climbs all over you so he can get the chocolate cake, and then you'll sit there and eat it on your lap because he's got his chocolate cake. Yeah. But if you're like, "Oh, come on," he's like, and
I know.
You don't have anything.
I never forget Bumper's 90th birthday, do you remember? And I was like, "I think you should go to you," and he's just like he just did not want to know, did he? And then he loves Destiny, didn't he?
Oh, he does. He really loves Destiny.
And Destiny comes along and he's like, and I'm like, "Mom, love me." But I'm just who I am, and I'm like, I get it. I get it. And
So I think, that's a key one as well. If your child is on a waiting list or has only recently gotten a diagnosis, just be a detective, really. Kind of observe how they respond to Christmas, how they respond to those changes, so that you then know what changes you can make to make things better.
Do you think, would it be too much to say, like obviously with the decorations and stuff, would it be a bit too much to like maybe slowly start putting decorations up early for them to kind of slowly adjust? I'm not saying put everything up in 5 minutes.
No, I would say if you gradually do it over a few days, and also if they participate in, get them involved in it, because then they will enjoy doing it. If you've got a child who's not bothered, then it's just maybe put 1 or 2 things out, get her a day or so, add another 2 things.
Yeah.
So they can see, oh, okay, that one thing's new. Oh, okay. Oh, that thing's new.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not, okay, what
oh my God, we've got 2 trees there, we've got garland there, we've got light, like that would just be mad, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, I would say, because it's not fair on the whole family, especially if you've got other children, to not do anything. But just be mindful, I suppose, and really think about it.
Yeah.
So should we do something fun to end on a fun note? I'm not even sure what to do, but
Did you like our little song at the beginning?
It was good.
Respond. I was expecting yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say, to be honest. Yes, I thought that was a good one. And I suppose part of the reason we had you in wrapping paper was just to remind you that wrapping paper is shiny and bright, and it can be a bit much. And let's face it, there's a lot to Hannah here.
I'm
So
bright enough as it is.
only she could be wrapped up today. Do you know what I mean? She's a real Jack in the Box. So yeah, thank you for joining us as always. Gosh, before we know it's gonna be the new year.
Oh,
It's gonna be the new year.
I know.
We will, as always, continue our podcasts. I think it works well on a monthly basis, doesn't it?
I think it does.
We enjoy doing it monthly, and it means we've got more to talk about as well, which is exciting. So in the new year, we'll be continuing with our podcast.
Technically, that would be season 2.
It would actually, wouldn't it? Wow. And we will, of course, have our guest speakers because we enjoy having guest speakers as well.
Indeed.
But also, if you've got any stories you want to share, like if you've got anything you would like to discuss on the podcast, like just send us a message. We're more than happy to invite you and get perspectives from other parents as well.
I think so, definitely.
You know, not just us.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much for listening and joining, and Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! So here it is.
Merry Christmas, everybody's having fun. Look to the future now, it's only just begun. It's Christmas! Yeah, don't invite her to your Christmas gathering, especially if your young ones make some loud noises.
I mean, if you want to pay me, like, I'll be an entertainment, you know?
Yeah.
I can sing better than that normally, you know?
It's not about that, it's just you're very... And we were just talking about that being a bit much for kids with sensitivities, and they're like, yeah, invite me, I'll entertain. It's like, I mean, yeah.
I'm good at Uno. If you want to play Uno, like, I'm quite good at Uno.
Okay, so just to clarify, I mean, I don't think you'll be able to do it this Christmas because, you know, we're already in it. But for next year, if you would like to have a celebrity join you for Christmas to play Uno or to sing very loudly and to scare your guests away,
maybe they want to get rid of the guests so they can put the kids to bed.
That is an option. So yeah, just get in touch, let us know.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Bye. Bye.